The 13th floor. The 13th floor.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I am your moderator, B. Jones, and I got my main man, BJ, here with us tonight. What's happening?
All good, man. It's another blessed day. Let's ready to go.
What's that, a NASA shirt right there?
Oh,
Trying to
yeah.
get to the moon?
Got to represent, baby.
There it is. How you represent NASA? You know somebody in NASA?
Nah, man, it's always been one of my things, like, I always support. Like, when I'm watching anything nowadays, it's either the Science Channel, History Channel, or cartoons, man. And also, I didn't even know, they set up another rocket this morning from Cape Canaveral, so it's right on time. I didn't even know it till later on this afternoon.
They still sending up rockets? I thought it was it.
Man, they're from Cape Canaveral. So this one I didn't get the full details. This may have been part of SpaceX as well, which is Tesla. Man,
yeah, they trying to get people up there.
Yeah, but I can't remember which company, because I caught it on the tail end passing through the barbershop on the news. But we were there and just saw it real quick. I was like, it's right on time. Represent NASA, baby. But they're launching it from it. And also, I saw update a girl we went to school with, 2003 to 2007. She was there. She's got promotion at NASA. So they're making stuff happen behind the scene. They ain't totally gone off the scene, man. They doing some stuff.
Oh, okay. Easy. And we got the ghost. My man coming off a sabbatical.
Ooh.
Mike D, what's happening?
I wish it was sabbatical. Sabbatical where you disappear and you work all the time. That's what that is. A sabbatical where you disappear and you have vacation. I'm on the work side, not the vacation side.
It look like you vacationing, bro. You see the bong up there, ladies and gentlemen? My dog been
That's a drink thing, no bongs.
Okay. So you at high school. I mean the college kids, not high school. Scratch that. High school.
No bong. No hookah around here. No hookah bars.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome back, Mike. We missed you, man. We know you've been gone doing amazing things. We had the Community Cup last week. Heard it was an amazing turnout, man. So we trying to get your take on that, man, and the experience. One of the things that we gotta hit on, and I really want you to focus in on that, is getting out there and getting it done. You know what I'm saying? Having the event, because this has been ongoing for at least 2 years, right?
3 actually in total, from thought process to implementation. 19.
And when it actually happened, so mobilization was last week. You had 3 different events over the course of 3 or 4 days, I believe. And even when you got to mobilization and execution, was everything in place?
No. And it still is kind of moving because we're continuing with stuff, but even like up to the day of and thinking through things that you would want to add, it was always a movement of thought of people, of trying to figure out what to do better, making arrangements for rain and what's outdoors and what's up next. Wondering if folks gonna call you back if they actually got the text. It was stressful to where it literally physically showed the thing that kind of was the theme throughout the week was blood pressure. Mike's blood pressure.
You got to tell that story, man. You got to.
Coincidentally, I got the scrubs on because I'm still on blood pressure monitoring, folks, ladies and gentlemen. But the whole idea is to make sure that we try and reduce health disparities and kind of get youth engaged in things that parents, families, more opportunities. The more adults that are engaged in kids' lives and the healthier that the people are, then your community grows. So we had a variety of events. The baseball clinic was the 8th. It was awesome. It was with the Sports Commission, Greater Cleveland Sports Commission, Cleveland Indians. We had it at Historic Lee Park. It was part of the first pitch of the Summer Festival, where they actually threw the ball out towards the end of the clinic. They had the ball was thrown from the mound where we had the clinic by Carlos Baerga, former Indians player. He threw it to, kind of tossed it maybe about 10 or so feet to the next person. And then for a total of about 1,200 volunteers, ended up tossing that same ball literally throughout the streets of downtown Cleveland. And it ended up being the first pitch of the Yankees game that night.
Awesome.
So it was cool. So we had about 100 kids that were out from about 8 to about 13. And so we started at 10. It might have been about 15 kids that showed up. You're kind of looking around. The festival hadn't started yet on the other side of the field. But just like as a point of aesthetic, just literally like this is the second best field in all of Cleveland next to the Indians field.
Mm-hmm.
It was refurbished by the Indians. They put in about $2 to $3 million into it. Beautiful turf, beautiful bleachers. The Indians used to play there. Negro League used to play there. Like deep field, high walls, all gates in the middle of the hood. And not one kid from the hood is allowed to participate on this field without somebody giving them a permit. They got a little bitty field on the side that's all dirt with no base.
Oh man.
For the neighborhood kids to run around when they want to play baseball. So it was kind of their first time getting inside. We broke up into stations. By the time we got to the second station, there was about 45 kids. I looked up for the third station. I was like, man, where are these kids come from?
They slept in that morning. They slept
Yeah,
in.
it's like, we got the good field today, baby. Right. We on. Let's go.
It was parents. I looked up. The cops was taking off Davey little stuff and getting everything. Kind of get like, hey, let's play a game. So we ended up having all the kids play. They ended up playing the adults and the instructors. So we got pictures with the cops playing with the kids, which was cool because it's a real prime neighborhood. And even some of the things that start going like through some of the stations, the cops start teaching them how to hold the bag, you know, hit it here, hit it there. It was a real cool day. That was led by followed by the pitch and kind of moving that throughout the city. So we got a chance to talk to the Indians brass. They were real excited because this is the first time that they were able to actually see the youth from the community using this field. So we're building on that.
How long the field been? How long the field been in?
Field's been there probably brand new, maybe the last 5 years, maybe 4. But it's been there forever. Like this is literally the field where the Indians
refurbished in after they put the work in 5 years.
Yeah,
it's the first time the community has actually used the field.
Yeah. You're not allowed to go on there. I think the first clinic the Lifeline did was 2015. They haven't had one pretty much there since then. Most of the RBI stuff is done at the city parks, so they very rarely use this field. Then we kind of moved from there into the library, was able to do some more health resources, handing out clothes, shoes, health screenings, insurance for people on the west side in Parma, completely different community. Then brought it all back for the family event that we had at Warrensville High School. We had the bouncy houses outside, the food trucks, and it rained like crazy. But at every event, there is the health screenings. First event, lady comes up, she drops her kid off. She's like, yeah, I got to go to the grocery store. Like, no, you need to go get your health screen. Hey, I got to go to the grocery store. Like, look, it's going to take you like 5 minutes. You know, go ahead. You'll be all right. You know, come back, me and her son get ready to play catch. She's like, hey, thank you. Like, what? They said my blood pressure was high. Like, I need to sit down for a minute. Like, all right, well, see, yeah, you need to. So this is Saturday. So events kind of go. Ian comes in Tuesday. Mr. Clark, who everybody met, he came in on Monday. So
shout out GC Clark.
Right, we got a chance to hang out with him.
My dog had y'all hanging out.
Right. I mean, that was awesome. So it's interesting. Even Ian and Clark, like they both are familiar with Cleveland.
Right.
So like I'm taking him around. He's like, hey, take me down. I need to see Carnegie. I mean, I remember the red carpet lounge. So I know like all these places, showing him around, showing him where we had the clinic, showing him where I grew up, kind of giving him a feel of like what the network is like and all the places that are connected through the community cup. So next day, same thing, taking E around. So we get to the library, same conversation, people coming in like, make sure you get your health screen. Make sure you get your health screen. So George Clark go over there, come back, like, how'd you do? You're like, yeah, what I thought. Like, all right. So he is fresh on, he's around there, like, I need to get back to my desk. Like, look, man, like, you know, you need to go get your health screen and we can move the conversation over there. 15 minutes, you'll be all right. I've been down here for a couple, 15 minutes. So we still talking around. He come walking back, say, how'd it go? And he give me a look, put his hands on his hips, like, So everybody I sent over there has come back with this look, like, thank you for sending me over there. All right.
Thank you for saving my life. That's 3 lives saved, ladies.
Oh, actually 4, because Juan mentioned the time that he said, by the way, tell Didi, thank you for saving my dad's life, because he thought he was having a heart attack during the baseball.
Oh, yeah. You talking about the water thing.
He was putting the lemon powder inside of his water. And she said that causes your heart rate to speed up. So that's probably why you feel like you need to run out there. Just drink the water. Don't put the lemon stuff in it no more. You'll be all right. So he felt better after that. She was like, tell her, thank you for saving my life. I felt like I was going to die out there on the field. So that's 4. So I'm like, all right, well, it's my turn. You know, I go. So I sit down. The nurse comes up, put the clip on. She's like, yeah, how you doing? How you doing? I'm fine. Like, oh, yeah, this is your event. Like, yeah, like, it's real nice. Like, okay. She's like, yeah, don't worry. You know, it's just electronic blood pressure. Like, what you about? Don't worry about it. Let me just take this manually. Take the electronic one off.
So they go from the electronic. Now the electronic already,
right.
The electronic is already not the most accurate, but you know they specifically said, okay, let me throw that out. Let me get this manual.
So we're gonna go to the manual one because you know sometimes when there's noise and all the extra stuff around, it picks up on some other stuff.
Right.
It gives the manually one. Is first thing out of her mouth is, "You feel okay?" I'm like, yeah. What's that mean? She's like, "What's just a little high? You 154/94, and the other one came out."
I'm just joking, folks.
Then she starts showing the thing on the like, well, here's your chart. This is where you're at. Some people would say that this is, you know, hypertension, but you know, it's an event. So I'll be at the high school tomorrow. I'm gonna check you first thing in the morning. So she leaves. The lady community health worker, Dee, comes over like, what happened? She's showing the thing, and they all look at me like, you sure you okay? Get some water. Sit down. You need to eat. Like, oh, so we go through Wednesday. First thing Thursday morning, everybody, Tracy, who's the paramedic, she does the EKG, Dee, community health worker, nurse, Dr. T. Sit down. Take your blood pressure. All right. You all right? Yeah. You relaxing? I'm relaxing. She puts the thing on, and immediately everybody just stops. Looks down the thing, is like, yeah, we got a problem here. Like, what is it? She's like, it's 164/103. Oh, like that don't sound better.
That's that Reuben sandwich talking to you. That's
Thank you. You said they told him to get us something to eat. He's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go to my sandwich shop down the street. We're gonna post a picture of this sandwich, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
He got one. He was absolutely impressed.
I bet his heart hated it.
All $18. All $18 in the wait.
That sandwich should last like a week in anybody's house.
He had it in one car ride. So actually 2 car rides. I'll take that back. We had a meeting in between. So now they like, all right, well, we gotta this is getting concerning now. Wait, did you drink coffee? Yes. Okay, that could be an issue, but still it's not supposed to be that high. So the nurse specifically leaves instructions that before I leave Thursday, they're to take my blood pressure again. And they are also to take it before I go back home. I don't go back home till Saturday. So now I got required blood pressure screening Thursday afternoon, Friday during the day, and sometimes Saturday before I leave. And the lowest that it got was 154, if I want to say like over 90 something. So it was required that once I got back to go to the doctor on Monday and text the nurse the blood pressure reading, which came out to be 134/86. So although it is better, I understand it is still high.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the benefit. Even like unbeknownst to me, thinking I'm setting this thing up for everybody else, I'm the one that's in the doctor with the continual checkups to go back this Monday and next Monday, and if need be, change the diet, kind of all of that. So all of that kind of was just the stressful part, but just being able to highlight and showcase home and kind of what goes on in Cleveland and kind of all the resources that are there. We're just beginning to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it all aligns. So as I'm dropping off flyers, I'm passing my old high school, driving by my grandmother's house and where I went to elementary school. I had to go to a church to drop off flyers in the neighborhood. The pastor's office is in my old kindergarten room. And a guy that I've known since I was 4 and 5 years old is his head deacon sitting in the kindergarten room talking to him. So I literally walk in like, y'all about to make me cry. Like, wow, cause this Miss Bruner's room? Absolutely. He's like, you know, Levy, yeah, we was in this room together. I mean, they even got the train set, the books and everything is still, so they took over the old school, and they said when they moved in, everything was exactly where it was. So that was my kindergarten school, where I went to kindergarten, where I went to 4th grade. Before my dad died, that was the only place he has ever seen me get an award or do anything positive in school other than baseball. And that day for 4th grade, I kicked butt. I got like 16 different awards, almost in every subject. got the principal's award. Until to this day, Roderica Miranda, that's the only word thing that you beat me in is that spelling bee. But other than that, it was good. Ian grew up on the same street that I grew up on. So we riding around the community and Shake. He's like, this look familiar. And literally come by, he's like, this is where Steak and G's was. Make a left right here. That's my old house. Like, dude, this is the street I grew up on. Like literally, I lived on that street when I was 6, 16, and 26. So, I mean, it was just a lot of synergy that we in a good spot. So the events continue. They just had a community health hub pop up Monday, which was yesterday at Parkwood Drive-Thru in the Glenville neighborhood of Superior. So they had a journalist come out. National journalist is coming to the neighborhood to do a story on everything that's going on. We're working on the baseball clinic. We got some more stuff coming up. So it grows, it continues. It was awesome.
How much press, Cleveland City press, was out there while y'all were doing that event?
Every news channel. We got live on WKYC Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 8, Channel 20, the Call and Post newspaper, which is one of the local African-American ones. We even made the front page of what is now Cleveland.com.
Mm-hmm.
But they got a nice picture of me putting the ball on the tee for the kids during the baseball game after the clinic. So it's starting to build. And as more things happen, as more things go, radio announcements are going on now for all of the things that are going on health-wise. So August is going to be breastfeeding month. Last month, they were focusing on biking as a way to get around. So there's a lot of things that are going on in terms of just safe routes for bikes and for schools and for everything in Cleveland. So just highlighting all the stuff that's happening.
I'm glad to hear that, man. It's two things that I take out of that. The first thing is the exposure, because I think that's one thing that we don't get enough of. You know, Cleveland, has always been known for, like maybe the lack of infrastructure in the communities, the gang violence and stuff that goes on there, just the struggles that the city has seen in all of its different wars and such. And here you have such a positive event, such a great turnout for it to be the first event in a small subsection of the city, because it was in Warrensville, right?
Warrensville, Parma, and Huff. Those are the three neighborhoods. So Huff,
those are the
Saturday,
three.
yeah.
Right. And so for that to get the publicity it got, and you're not there anymore, and they're still continuing to, run with the baton in hand, it's passed on perfectly. I'm pretty sure you got oversight in this manner, but those are the types of things, man, that we really got to be adamant about showcasing. You started the event, you kicked it off and everything, but we got to make sure that the world, the city, the state knows that, hey, yeah, in Cleveland, there's more that happens here and there's more positivity here than we might necessarily get credit for. And even through the challenges that the city has, we got a guy who was born and raised here, has his heart in the city, and he's doing that work to bring the city out of whatever its challenges are. I was at an event yesterday that the CEO of Baltimore City Schools was speaking at. Dr. Santalisi, Sonia Santalisi. And even in Baltimore, and I don't live in Baltimore, I live in Anne Arundel County, 30 minutes south. So I only get what I see on the news, what I hear in the newspaper. But this woman who was, I think she may have been CEO or superintendent of something from 2010 to 2013, left, and then now she came back in 2016, has a lot of positive programs set up for the school district. They have things like Be More in the city, where they take the kids out into the city and, help them learn more about the history and culture that Baltimore has outside of the things that we hear on, the news, and, everybody knows The Wire and stuff like that. But she takes it beyond that and some of the industrial facets, the historical achievements and things that go on in Baltimore. They have she called it CTE program, where they're getting bigger on the it's career and technical education.
Yeah.
They're completely revamping that thing. I actually had a conversation with her about that to make sure that there's a financial literacy component to it. They're expanding advanced learning classes and everything all throughout the city, and they have identified the areas in the city that need this help. And so she put it up on a chart. You got your reds, your yellows, and your greens and everything. And a lot of those programs and stuff are situated in the red areas where they need it most. And the funding that she's getting it seems like it's being properly allocated. But for someone who I have access to this event, but I don't necessarily see this stuff in the Baltimore Sun. I think there was a Baltimore Sun article that tried to paint a negative light around the way the CTE program was run at that particular time, because I don't think it was being as effective as it was. But my point in all that is saying that, there's a lot of great things going on in some of our urban communities. And I think we have to continuously do better about being in the know of what these things are. And when it is happening, trying to publicize and put it out there so people don't have, these negative perceptions, or aren't fed this propaganda, and just kind of have to live with that.
I'm listening to you saying this, and I totally agree with you. But one of the things we got to understand is that when you have situations like this, whether the press picked Mike in the community cup event up or not, we have to understand that we got the power more broader today than what the local news does, right? If you talk about our social media connections, the just publicity you can get just by videos, from pictures, from other content you put out there, and have other people. That's why when I used to then understand how important it is to create hashtags, I never really understood that until I started talking to people in that field and understanding what it does and how it documents things and how it keeps things tracked. You can track things over time, and people can look up things and get the full gamut of, from start to finish, a timeline of events. Like, I never really understood that till somebody broke it down for me. And I consider myself a pretty decent in the social media world, but there's little intricacies that we don't really think about when you're doing an event. Like, our reach is more powerful from our interpersonal circles to their circles, and everybody's circles overlap. Like that, the whole thing used to be, what is it called? 6 degrees of separation. I think by social media and all the technology, that's even shrunk. We might be down to like 4 or 5 by now. Don't quote me on that because I ain't been proving it, but I guarantee it's gonna come up in the future. But when you start doing things like that, like, we have the power to make these events and make the good known, because that CTE program, like you said, that whatever happened, the negative picture, we need everybody else who had a positive experience to combat that and talk about it and put up the good publicity. So that's one of the things we need to, as a people, when I say people, I'm talking about human people, right? Because no matter what community you're in, there's always some negative going on, or the agenda for the school system is bad. The agenda for the courts are bad. The agenda against the police community relations are bad. But what Mike did with the cup right there, he didn't rely just on the news stations and the media to pick it up only. They were pushing that through social media and tagging other people and having them promote it too. So by the time the regular media mainstream media got hold of it, they were ready to run with it because they already saw the impact it was having and how people were talking about it. So kudos to you guys for doing that. I know you, Juan, Didi had been putting feelers out there for months, for like probably the last year or so, just like grinding, going. I can't count how many times you say I'm headed to Cleveland. I'm headed to Cleveland. I got a meeting in Cleveland. I'm going for 2 days. I'll be back. It like almost every other week, right?
Exactly.
And it was.
That's the grinding that paid off.
Yeah, the crazy part is I was there May 19th to the 23rd, came back, went back June 2nd to the 3rd, came back and went back June 7th to the 15th. Got to a point where like literally like one weekend I was like, all right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. It was like, what? Like, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. Like, I'm staying in a hotel. I'm feeling like I live here. I've been back so much. And people now asking like, you sure you don't live here? Absolutely positive. I'm positive. I've been sleeping on the couch for the last week and a half. But I think that's been the biggest buy-in just internally, is the understanding, like, to people to say, let me celebrate what we're doing. Like, you keep doing what you're doing. I already know what you're doing. And you know that I know the lane that you fit in, but I also understand that there are gaps between your lane and the person that's next to you, and the dollars that are coming, we're all asking the same people. So it's a whole lot of people from the outside that once they find out all the stuff that we got, they'll support it, and they're supporting it with the resources. It's about getting us on the ground and support each other. And that's been something that I think just was a blessing given to me in terms of my previous position, is that's how we were able to grow those initiatives that we had in community before. was people need to realize it's not about what you do in your little neighborhood, but together all of us form a county, we form a Northeast Ohio, and from there you can get money from anywhere in the world because everybody's trying to fund. So let's not fight over the same 50 kids
Right.
until all the youth in our community are involved in something. And it's just continuing that work. So a lot
That's
of
good
good
stuff.
people are doing good stuff. And I'm excited to see what's coming for the future. So kind of like you said, as the word started to spread, it kind of got to a point where by the time I was handing out things, people would just say, "Oh, cool, more," which was a real good response. Other than, I don't even know, I had never seen this before, but they had already seen stuff. They had already exhausted everything that they had in terms of just the advertisement. It was just a matter of praying that it don't rain, and all your prayers went that God didn't have it rain for 14 minutes, but at the 15th minute, skies opened up, and plan B, ladies and gentlemen, plan B.
There you go.
Plan
That's
B.
good stuff, man.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I think is really important is how you made this opportunity for yourself, man. You trusted yourself throughout all of the no's. Like legit, dog. Like you trusted yourself. You willed this thing into existence. And I feel like that was a central theme over the last couple of weeks because even like paralleling it to a side story of myself and my group with Beyond Extracts and Siphon, how Monday we just turned in our medical cannabis application, and literally it was willed into existence. Like, and I'm talking about the last second of the last minute was when we made it into the room to actually be able to upload, our application package and everything. And it's a lot that goes into that. And there's so many different variables and things that you have to consider. But at the end of the day, failure is not an option. We got to do it, and we're going to make it happen. And you made it happen. And so many things now are on the table because people have seen it. They ain't hearing about, the community cup. If everybody donate $1, we got $1 million. We feeding the masses. You know what I'm saying? Everybody taken care of. We can put computers in this school and we can build a community center over here. Nah, we raised, I don't know, a few $1,000, $1,000, a few $1,000, got the right infrastructure set up between the libraries, had the right infrastructure between Lifeline and our other health coordinated events, and put some stuff on for the community and had a great time.
Yep.
And now the same people that were at the table was like, wow, yeah, I can see it. It's tangible. You didn't wait, until they kind of believed in it, which may or may not have ever happened. You believed in it enough to go out there and get it. And so to the listener, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I think was most impressive when Mike told me how the weekend went, is just all of the things that he received on the back end. And now all of the new doors and new opportunities that are on the table.
I mean, it's a lot. Like in parts where I was happy, other parts I cried. He'll tell you, like, I think starting Tuesday, stuff was going on with my neck where I could barely move. But, it was like, all right, get up, stretch, do what you got to do to get there, because it was more about the community needs it. And I know the community needs it. It's still somewhat of a I.O. because it was unfinished business because of how we left so abruptly. Not that it was a fault or anything, but you kind of have a vision of once you start this career path, this is where I want to see my community end up. And to have to go from like I have no contact or continuation with that pathway, you needed to create another one, because ultimately that's my life mission, which I can't say is mine, but I realized just from the ease of doing it, not to be taken lightly, because it's humility and everything that goes into it. But there were way too many things that came about when they were supposed to, for me to go against anything, knowing that it wasn't given to me by whatever energy, spirit, higher power being. Because half the stuff, ain't no way I could have come up with it at that time. So my cousin Eric and Mad Works, came back at the right time. They sent the video crew. So it's a movie coming out of the whole everything from the time I get in the car to leave.
You're gonna be famous.
The time I come back home. I mean, we're gonna be famous, ladies and gentlemen. I told y'all.
That's the hashtag for the video right there. You're gonna be
famous. And y'all thought I was playing, but I'm serious. I mean, it was everything lined up to be what you needed, where you needed.
And I'm gonna go back to the statement that Carol made last week when I was sharing my debrief about the mission trip to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
This is possible because you know who you are. You know you believe right now you found what your purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
Without understanding that, none of this would have went through. I believe none of this went through because when you would hit those walls, hit those obstacles, a lot of people would have stopped or put the brakes on, like, okay, well, let's pull back. No, you pushed forward because you knew what you wanted it to see. You were comfortable in who you were and what you could get done, and you surrounded yourself with the people that help support that mission and vision, and you pushed through to see it fulfilled for your community, where you were raised, where you grew up, in turn to give back to the kids that are there now and the community at a large, as a whole is there now. Yeah. So without that understanding who you are and knowing yourself first, that would not have taken place, I personally believe.
Yep. And the part to that is that it was constant reminders of who I am because I saw where I came from. So like literally I walked into the high school recreation center and Miss Dean, you are the beast. This lady was my instructor when I was at Safety Town, ladies and gentlemen. That's 5 years old. And she's standing behind the receptionist desk. I tell the guy on the movie, hey, this is the lady that gave me my first whooping outside of my mom. Her response was, that's because you deserved it. It was no shame. It was not. I remember.
Whether she knew who you were or not, she knew you deserved it.
Right. I knew it was 42 years ago. You was on the bus. You was playing around. I popped you on the button, told you, I'm going to tell your mama when she come pick you up. Yeah, you tell her. And she told her, and I got another whooping. That's when you realized that's how it was. But she was there. I mean, it was like, well, y'all can't go in this part of the building. She was like, no, he can go wherever he wants in this building. Like, well, can we take it in front of the trophy? Absolutely. And as I'm going, like, I see guys I went to school with. Like, it was this constant reminder of you are from here. Even one of the teachers is like, why'd you do this? I'm like, this is home. She's like, I'm glad that you feel that way. And it's a lot of us that have gone away, even not Cleveland, but a lot of people just in general go away. You take whatever skills and education you have, and the best way you can, you come back and you rebuild home. Every culture does that. Everyone. No apologies at all. They invest all of their money back at home. So as much as I can, try and bring all the resources from everybody and everything that I know back home. So it's just the beginning. It's about to get lovely.
It's about to get litty, man. I can't wait, dog. I can't tell you how proud I am, man, to see you in this position. I think I know you guys did hella great work out there in Cleveland, and I know it's only the tip of the iceberg, man. It really is, especially with the footprint that you're gonna have on that city and in surrounding cities, because the Community Cup is not just gonna be local. It's not just gonna be in Cleveland.
We're gonna grow it. So we ended up getting invited to the Jarvis Landry celebrity game on Saturday. That's when I realized, you know what? It's time to go home. It's about to get out of control.
He had to get back to that bong, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you see it's still on top of the refrigerator though. We got water. All water.
You need it. You need water. You need to get you some turmeric and ginger and some cinnamon.
Good. And you can tell I went through a gallon of water every day. I had 8 gallons of water in the fridge. By the time we left, I had 1. So the family took good care of me. The one that only had the hot sauce and the Slimans. My hot sauce didn't make it.
Shout out to Barry B. Fresh, man, down there spinning in Cleveland, man. He was another one of the group that could make it down to Cleveland, man. Appreciate the support, brother.
Absolutely.
And we miss you, man. I know you're doing the editing and everything on the background, but you can show your face every once in a while.
He's
gonna do a pop-up in the video and it's gonna show his face and just zoom in on that part.
Easy. Hey, before we get up out of here, I just realized in Maryland that it's like officially summer. My daughter got a report card in the summer vacation, I should say. They out of school for real. I think the last school let out last Thursday or so. But now we in that, we got a bridge to build between the 4th and 5th grade. So I know everybody should be out of school by now, BJ, but I want to talk to you, man. If you can give us some insight on maintaining a balance so that the kid enjoys the summer, but doesn't go into the next school year at ground zero.
Right. So it's a delicate balance because I posted something early this week, the end of last week. Sorry, it's the beginning of this week already. End of last week. My own kids. I mentioned before one of the podcasts that I bought some books that they need to read over the summer. 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teenagers.
They got that for teenagers?
Yeah.
Wow.
6 most important decisions you ever make, and Rich Kid, Smart Kid. So I put them out on the table. The kids each picked their own. They had some tussle back and forth, but they ended up with one in front of them. And then so what I do is, and I'm not saying this is not everybody. This just work for me in my household right now. So each of them have their book. They're not to sit down and just read cover to cover. They read a section or a chapter at a time, and then I gave them a notebook and a outline that I want them to reflect from each section. And we're gonna go section by section. After a couple of days, I'll pick it up and just go over each one with them individually. This works for me, but the idea is just to get their brain thinking. Because all year, like I said, my kids did great. They performed like they should. They took responsibility if they didn't perform, of reflecting on why they didn't and kind of reset their goals and what they wanted to do. But I also think kids are overstressed with testing. Mm-hmm. So by the end of the year, they do need a break. So how to find that time of where I'm not on Fortnite for so many hours versus I'm not doing anything, right? Because that's my battle. But then I had to step back and think, so I just need you guys to be engaged in something that's extending your knowledge or adding to your knowledge every day. Whether that's reading one chapter, whether that's sitting down and have a conversation about the news report we just read, whether that's us as a group sitting down and watching Jeopardy that night or Wheel of Fortune that night and just get a little bit more knowledge in there somehow, some way. So think outside the box. Don't think that what I'm doing for reading, again, works for me and my household. That might not work for everybody. But it maybe they're going to camp this summer and you got a 20-minute drive in the morning. Maybe that 20 minutes is talking about the latest, having them pull up the latest news from the day before and having a quick conversation about what's going on in the world. There's a lot of things going on right now that I wasn't even aware of because when I was unplugged, and I tell you, when I was in Alaska, it was like I was unplugged from the world. I came back, I had no idea all the things that happened in Sudan. I heard bits and pieces, Sudan, but I didn't know the details of it, right? Everything's happening in Iran, everything's happening here in the U.S. This is like we could be on the brink of something major in the world in the upcoming days and weeks, right? But just having conversation about what's going on and just keeping them engaged and thinking about stuff, thinking about the world. It doesn't have to be, I have to read more just to improve my comprehension. I need to understand who we are, what's going on in the world, and talk to people about it. Mm-hmm. So if they do that, I'm okay with them. Now, I ain't gonna sit on the computer all day, but I'm okay with them being on for a while and just unplugging and playing the games because they worked their butts off during the school year and didn't have that opportunity during that time. And everybody has their thing, but you got to find what works for you and your kid, what motivates them, what demotivates them. Once you do that, I think you're going to have a good summer and kids enjoy it, like for real, because it's going to come quick that you're going to be right back in those school halls, in them halls.
Exactly.
The average is about 2 months now.
I'm trying to go get these uniforms now while they cheap and they got them in stock.
Exactly.
We out of uniforms, ladies and gents. No uniforms hurt.
They got me last year. They ain't getting me this year.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm looking for middle school because they can wear jeans every day. Just got to get tops. So my daughter's happy she can wear jeans. The boys don't.
We sneak them in, man. Shoot, we get them like some khaki. We get near some khaki colored jeans or some dark blue jeans.
Yeah.
They ain't tripping. What they gonna do? Send them home?
We at the high school. They wear whatever they want to wear. It is.
That's my motto. Like, you gonna send them home for a pair of pants in high school? Like, yeah, I'll come up and talk to you, principal in the office. We'll handle that real quick. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's a whole different dress code here. Like it's to a point where it's like, you know what? Just put a shirt around it.
Just show up. are you there? And not revealing for girls and not just super crazy pants down below your butt for the boys on stuff. But other than that, show up and let's work with what we got.
Yeah, the boys don't wear the saggy pants, but I've heard some of the stories about the young ladies. So that's a whole different podcast because Michael's on his way to high school. So
Yeah, we're going to get in there. That man's got some adolescent stuff he's about to be going through.
That man is about to be 6'2".
And he's swinging that. I mean, not he ain't swinging the bat. I mean, he can hit though, right?
Yeah, the dude got glasses.
He's throwing that heat.
He got glasses. He can see. The dude, he had a nice game against some 15-year-olds. So
yeah, man.
15. He pitched well enough to win, and they lost 10-0.
That's got to be crushing, man. I couldn't.
So the part that he got kudos for his maturity is that he did not pout one time. He took that 10-0 loss like he had pitched him a no-hitter. So that was props.
But at some point, man, like for real, he got to get I don't know. For me, at some point, he got to get to knowing how it feels to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think that drives them as a team. Like collectively, they have gone from 19 ones, 18 zeros, down 20-3 to come back to win 22-0 to lose it because of time. To now is 8-0, 6-1. I mean, they were 1-0.
So they're showing progress.
Yeah, it was 1-0 against a team that ended up finishing in the playoffs. Like literally some 10th graders. These are kids that are 8th and 7th grade that are playing against 10th graders at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and it's 1-0 going into the 5th. So
they're playing good baseball. They just
one ground ball, somebody miss it, you put your head down. Next thing you know, it's 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten better to watch just as parents and you see them developing, but you also see the separation from middle school to high school.
Mm-hmm.
Same way you saw it from like as they grow up, or some kids seem like, you know what, I'm good. No more getting up at 5:30 to be at an 8 o'clock game that's an hour and 15 minutes away. I ain't doing this no more. I want to watch cartoons and go kick it with my friends and go to the pool on Saturdays.
It's gonna separate the men from the boys.
Hey,
absolutely.
That and the cost. I mean, you figure he's had a tournament every weekend since Memorial Weekend, and they got one this weekend, so that's 6 weekends in a row. They done played 20 games in the last month.
When they coming to Maryland?
Next year, possibly. Either next year or the year after. High school teams travel. So they definitely got Georgia. They may do Georgia, Maryland, some other stuff next year.
Skip Maryland to go to Georgia. They don't play no baseball in Georgia.
It's supposed to be where the college and the pros go. They go where the folks are showing up as offering the scholarships. Yeah, one of the, I forgot which team their coach was talking about. They knew a kid was going to Yale. They decided not to pick him in the draft because they said he would get a better education with a scholarship at Yale than anything they could offer. But where they were going to pick him in the draft, they're going to wait till he gets out of Yale to draft him.
Wow.
Right. That's dope.
Good to hear they're thinking about this stuff, though.
Right. And like they told the kid,
the whole culture has changed.
Yeah, like we want to pick you here, but we're not because you have a scholarship to Yale. Go get your education, son. Play baseball, get better. You got free ride, free education. We'll get you after.
If only the NFL thought that way.
Mm-mm.
That's a whole nother story. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing on up. Excuse me. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you get with us on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Catch the videos on Vimeo and YouTube, and then follow us on all social media platforms at 13th Floor, please. Next week, I don't know what we're talking about yet, though. Actually, I did have a question. BJ, did you finish watching the show with your kids?
No, we got 2 more to go. We got busy this weekend and couldn't finish it, but we should be done this week.
I got some questions, man. And if them young men don't mind coming on, I'd like to ask them what they thought. So we'll see if we can make that happen. We'll talk to BJ and get his take on it. But next week we got a fully loaded show for you. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but we're gonna make it happen. Mike D, we appreciate you joining us, man. We're gonna try and get you back next week too.
We're working on headphones too.
Hey, I told you them joints was gonna work though, right?
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties.
You had to restart the computer. That was the technical difficulties. I think the error was between the computer screen and the chair.
It's possible.
Absolutely. We out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for listening. Here with us on the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
The 13th floor. The 13th floor.